Now, we have the honor of hosting a South African icon today in our studios. This extraordinary gentleman wears many hats as an entertainer, a businessman, a father, a caregiver to many, and he's also an integral part of the entertainment industry here in South Africa, and his contributions to the diverse landscape of South Africa are appreciated and honored by music lovers the world over, from Carnegie Hall in New York to Newtown in Johannesburg. And he joins us today with longtime friend and manager, Martin Myers. Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Good morning, good morning.
I want to ask, did you actually get a good night's rest last night? Because I left, I think, at 11:30.
Well, you were listening to amazing stories that Sipho was telling you, and I think that's what he's all about,
Absolutely.
amazing stories and giving back.
Absolutely. And speaking about amazing stories, I mean, I think one of the big highlights of the past 2 years in your life, Sipho, was the fact that you decided that you were going to take on your matric year again and write the exam. I don't think many people really understand the backstory to that, why you decided to do that in the beginning.
Well, I just felt that it's something that I had not completed because I found myself dropping out of high school before I even wrote my exams and traveling and touring with my band. And of course, you know, you get attracted as a young person, you become impressionable, and you forget that there's the most important things that you should be doing. And of course, I had somewhat an unsettled childhood, you know, because my parents had separated. So I made my own decisions really at times, and I dropped out. But I always felt that there was something that I had not done and I had not completed, and one day I'll get back to school. But when I realized it was 45 years later, you have not written your matric, go back.
Wow. And
that's how I made a decision.
And congratulations for completing. I know we were talking yesterday about the reaction of some of your friends. Martin, what was your reaction when you heard this, that Sipho was deciding he's going to go back to school?
The most amazing reaction was the president phoning me to get Sipho's number, because the president had put out a message, and I saw it, and I phoned Mac Maharaj, gave him the number. I said, look, well, why don't you call Sipho yourself? And then 4 minutes later or 5 minutes later, I get a call. And I thought someone was joking.
Wow.
Until they said,
wow.
And I said, and then what happened, Sipho phoned me about 10 minutes later. I just got a call from President Jacob Zuma. So, I mean, it was quite astounding. But there was press from CNN, Al Jazeera, BBC, and across the board, and there'd been a 20% increase in adult literacy in Soweto. And then Sipho, it's about him giving back, and that's what he wants to do. And now he's got involved in a music conference.
Exactly, I think, which is, a great way for anyone out there who's interested in music, either as a producer or as an artist, anywhere in the music industry. You've got to hear about this. From the 21st of March to the 23rd at the Cape Town City Hall, the Music Exchange Conference will be taking place. Give us a bit of a background on what that is all about.
We found, and I've had the honor and privilege, and he's been an amazing man to me. I've worked with Sipho since 1985. We started at UCT. The concert was R5 in those days. And we found we were always talking to people and artists and giving the same information at different times. And Sipho said, Mart, you know, really what we need to do is, I want to build a legacy. I want to build something about me that's not just about me, but about uplifting South African music and that. We've got the skills, we've got the talent, but it's about the business and hearing those life stories. He performed yesterday in Kirstenbosch, and I think that sums up what Music Exchange is all about.
Wow.
7 guests, all empowered by Sipho to perform at on a stage in front of a huge audience, and that's what the conference does. I mean, when you've got the likes of the South African Music Rights Organization, Nicholas Motsatsi, and he's the CEO of SAMRO backing the conference. Wow. Sipho Mabuse speaking, RJ Benjamin speaking, Arno Karsten speaking, Chad Never speaking.
Yeah.
John Langford and Ati van Wyk.
It's quite a list of names.
Those are all names.
Big guns.
And people watching television will know every single one of those names because they've all done something and they all want to give back, and that's what it's about.
And we were saying yesterday, I mean, there's a saying that goes around in the music industry that, you know, sing as loud as you can for as long as you can while you have the golden mic in front of you. But you've decided to graciously hand that over to the next generation through this project.
I think it's very important. I mean, we're not going to live forever, and the truth is that every generation has got to play a part in actually ensuring that the legacy continues and the music continues. And if we don't actually share those experiences, then how do we ensure that what we believe in takes place? And for me to work with younger people and say, look, this is the way, then we should take it beyond me.
Yes.
And if that's what I consider giving a lot to society, I'm quite happy doing that.
Lovely. One final question before we go. How important do you think music and arts and culture is to the forming of a future South Africa, from where we are right now and where we're trying to get to? How important?
Well, I've always
does it play?
believed that arts and culture is just as much part of education as is science, maths, and so on. You know, I was last night, when I told you about this book that I'm reading, The Meaning of Things, yes. You know, sometimes we attach importance to just mundane material things when we could actually empower ourselves through interacting with our own souls, through music. And we feel that music should be part of a larger society. We know that that's what, but we don't express that as strongly as we should. I mean, for instance, we know that you go to funerals, to weddings, streets, and so on. There's always music around us. But we have not enhanced that to create a soulful environment for ourselves. So I believe that if we could be a country that expresses itself through arts and culture, then I think we're at a stage where the entire international community will begin to realize that South Africa is so, how can I say, South Africa is so endowed. Yes. You know, sometimes English can be very difficult. So endowed with so much talent.
Beautiful. Yeah. I couldn't agree with you more.
You have Mary Makeba, you have Hugh Masekela, Kaifa Simenya, Brenda Fassie, Yvonne Chaka,
Sipho Hotstix Mabuse himself right here.
Thandiso Mazwai, Mark Hayes, I mean, Johnny Clegg, the list, Anna Castins, and you know, the history is just, you know.
Indeed. And it's pearls of wisdom like that you can expect to hear and see at the Music Exchange conference that takes place from the 21st to the 23rd of March here at the Cape Town City Hall. Details will be on our website, expressoshow.com. We'll be right back. You got to stay tuned. Special performance coming right up.